video, I'm going to be giving that quick tutorial of Rockin' in the Free World by Neil Young, the first song that I go over in my book. If you're here, I'm assuming you already got it, but that's where we lay out kind of all the fundamentals of guitar and then put it into some nice easy songs for you to begin applying that immediately. If you don't have that book, don't worry, it's free and it's just right down here in the comments, so jump down and download that. And then you could be right where we're at, following us along with Rockin' in the Free World. So here we go. Let's lay out all the strum patterns, the chord progressions, and learn how to play Neil Young's Rockin' in the Free World. All right, so we got 4 chords in this song, Rockin' in the Free World. 3 of those chords are found in the verse, and the chorus also has those 3 same chords, but we also add in a 4th. So let's quickly look at those chords. In our verse, we have our E minor. I'm going to be putting up the chord charts over here so you could follow along. But simple as it gets, we're going to strum all 6 strings with this E minor. I like using my first and second fingers for this chord. Helps with transitions later. Next chord's going to be our D. We're going to try to, if you can, strum only strings 1 through 4 on this chord. I like to wrap my thumb back around the neck and try to gently lay it on the 6th string to mute it. Kind of helps just in case I catch that 6th string so it doesn't ring out. And then our 3rd chord for the verse is going to be our C. Similarly, I try to wrap my thumb back around that neck and mute that 6th string because we're trying not to play that 6th string on a C chord, just 1 through 5. And those are our 3 chords for the verse. So we are kind of looking in our book at the transitions. With the E minor, we don't have an exact anchoring note, which is a note that doesn't move or moves very little when transferring to that next chord. But if we use our 1 and 2 fingers to play this E minor, you can notice that our 3rd finger, our ring finger, is just kind of hanging out over here. And what we could do is we could float it right above the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And then right before we come into that D, we could plant that finger, that ring finger, down on that note, allowing our other 1st and 2nd fingers to pick up and pivot to their right location. So I'm actually using this 3rd finger as the anchoring finger, which isn't played on the E minor, but it is played on that D. So we're here on an E. I plant that ring finger down on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, which allows my 1 and 2 fingers to pick up freely and then pivot to make that D chord. Kind of same thing, moving to that C, we don't have a note that stays the same. So what I like to do is on my last strum of my D, I pick up my 2 fingers, my 1 and 2 fingers again, and I push down on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, beginning that C chord, and use that finger as my anchor. So if I'm strumming here on the D, I pick these up, put my index finger back down here on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and then it allows me to lift that pinky up to find their placement to make that C chord. So it's a little bit of how we use our anchoring fingers when we don't have a note that stays the same moving to the next chord. The nice thing though, when moving back to our E minor, notice how our middle finger doesn't move at all when moving back to that E minor, so we can use that finger as our anchor when starting that chord progression over E minor D C. So that's as simple as it gets for our verse. We're just going to be applying down strumming for the verses, which definitely gives it that Neil Young feel. He adds accent notes. So what do I mean by that? Well, when I start playing this E minor using only down strums, the first note he kind of hits a little bit more with rigidity. Same thing with the D and C. Notice how I'm hitting that first count with a little bit more of a punch. It's called an accent note. So altogether it would sound like this. Punch that. You'll notice on guitar tabs that's notated with a caret. I'll show you right over here. That's how you can tell if there's a note that needs to be accented to give it the feel of the original tune. Now moving on to the verse, it's those same 3 chords, we just add the G, and it starts off on this G major chord. Again, going to be adding over here for you. Another neat trick that I like to do when learning a new song or writing a new song, when you vary the strumming pattern between the verse and the chorus, it actually adds a lot of flavor. So with the verses, we were only down strumming. When moving on to the chorus, I do an alternating up and down strum. Keep on rockin' in the free world. Keep on rockin' in the free world. Definitely sounds a lot better than lightens the tone of the chorus compared to the verses. But it makes them sound very distinct. You got the verse and you got the chorus rather than it blending all together. Great, so now that we got our 4 chords down, we know that we're only applying the down strum on the verse, we're doing the alternating up and down strum on the chorus. We're going to get our metronomes out. I happen to have mine on a phone right here, and I'm actually going to be using our new metronome series that's on our YouTube channel. I'll post the link on that right now on the video. And I'm just going to be using our 60 beats per minute metronome. And that's a nice slow tempo compared to the original tempo of this song. So it's something that can help us really work out the transitions, work out making those chords sound clearer. And when we start getting comfortable at this slower beats per minute, you can slowly work yourself up to the original beats per minute, which I believe is 132. I would need to double check that, but I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I'm going to push play on our metronome. I'm going to start into the verses. I'm going to do 4 chord progressions of the verse and then do 4 chord progressions of the chorus. All right. If you have your guitar, hopefully it's already in your lap and you're following along with me. I'm going to push play on the metronome. Hopefully you can hear it, but try to follow along. I may seem like I'm going quick, but at any point, if you need to pause the video, go back to review how to play these chords or the strumming patterns, and then just meet us back where we're at. Okay, here we go. You'll notice there are 8 down strums on the E minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 on the D. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 on the C. 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. E minor. 3, 4, 5. Here comes the D. Here comes the G on the chorus. Keep on rocking on the free world. Keep on rocking on the free world. All right, I'm going to stop the metronome here, and one thing we can work on really quick is our transitions. You'll notice that I am doing what we talked about in the book, the 3 A's of transitioning. I'm finding that anchor finger. We went over that earlier, even when there is not the same finger in both chords. And I'm anticipating that next chord coming, which means I'm moving to that next chord before the downbeat when I'm supposed to be playing it. Because if I waited, I would miss it. So going from the G to the D to the C to the E minor, I'm transitioning just before the strum of that next chord. So what do I mean by that? Keep on already switching, rockin' to the free switch. Switch. Keep on switch, rockin' on the free world. Notice I'm kind of lifting my fingers up, using that pivot finger, that anchoring finger, and landing on the next chord just before I need to down strum on that next chord. I'm anticipating it. And then obviously the third A of the 3 A's of transitioning is allowing yourself some grace if some of those chords sound a little muddy when you're transitioning and trying to get there a little earlier. Eventually this is all going to tighten up. So allow yourself some grace. Realize you're either practicing chords, making sure your chords sound crisp and nice, or you're practicing transitions, but not both at the same time. It gets too complex. Cool, so I'm going to try it one more time at this nice slow tempo. You could tell I'm even trying to really slow down on the chorus. I'm used to singing and playing this at normal tempo, so trying to take it back to 60 beats per minute can get a little challenging sometimes. So I'm going to push play again, follow along. We're going to do 4 progressions of the verse, 4 of the chorus, and then I'll meet you back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Transition, transition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. After this, G. Tap my toe to the tempo while I'm strumming. All right. So yeah, we got our 4 chords down. We just used 3 of them for the verse. We add in that G major for the chorus. The strumming, we're either down strumming for the verses, we're alternating on the chorus to give it some different feel. Remember with transitioning, to practice the 3 A's of transitioning, when you get that down with 60 beats per minute, you can slowly start adding 10 more beats per minute maybe at a time, speeding yourself back up to the original tempo, and before you know it, you'll be playing Rockin' in the Free World just like Neil Young does it. So hope this video helped kind of start putting the pieces together. If you have any questions, just comment below or send an email out to us and we'll do what we can to answer you in shortest amount of time as possible. Hope this helped. Hope you're getting a lot of information out of our free book. Again, if you don't have the book yet, it's free. Just download it below in the comments. And then I'll see you for the next song coming up in our book. Other than that, keep on jamming, jammers.